Loving again after a relationship can be really, really hard. So what happens if you're stuck in a bit of a rut and no longer feeling any sort of spark with your significant other? I could give you some personal advice. Joining us now with her advice is sexologist Dr. Nikki Goldstein. Hello, Nikki. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
How to get out of a rut? Oh, good luck with this one. Go for it. What's your best advice?
Well, I think one of the problems is that we struggle to even define what falling in love is. And people use it as an excuse. You'll hear people say, I just fell out of love. But I often think something has to precede that. Something has gone on in the relationship or even within the individual. So if you are trying to fall back in love, the part of the puzzle that you really need to work out first is what made you fall out of love? What happened in the relationship or what shifted even in the individual that has made them to change how they feel about someone else?
But if you have to force yourself to fall back in love, then that's surely a warning sign. That's the red flag, isn't it?
Well, I think this is the issue. It's like, well, what does it actually mean to fall in love? A relationship goes through different cycles of love, and you might be in a stage where there is a longing there and a love there, but things just don't feel okay in the relationship. And instead of giving up and saying, well, I've fallen out of love, I do think you need to work at things. And it's very similar to if we were saying to someone, you need to spice things up or you're stuck in a rut. How can you be in love with somebody if your relationship feels mundane and boring and stale? So focusing on what you want and how you feel as an individual, and then looking at the relationship and trying to work out how can we change things up to make it more exciting and more interesting is a really good place to start, to then work out, can we increase that passion and that spark in that relationship in order to help us feel those feelings of love? Or do we just give in and say, well, I've fallen out of love and it's just a feeling that I have no responsibility for?
See, I'm of the belief that love is an uncontrollable emotion, that it just happens. It's a chemical reaction inside the brain. But you're saying, no, it's not. It is controllable and manipulatable. That's a word.
I think there's some sensations that feel like they are uncontrollable. Definitely when you first fall in love, you don't really choose to fall in love. It feels like it just happens. But if you are in a long-term relationship where you have felt those feelings of love, something has to change in order for that feeling to shift. So that's what I'm suggesting that we explore, not this idea of just giving up and saying, well, I don't feel love. We really need to challenge ourselves as to, well, what does it feel like to fall out of love? What does that mean? And has something gone on that we can focus on and work on in order to get those uncontrollable sensations back again?
Nikki, good place to leave it. Thank you so much. I always love your advice. Sexologist Nikki Goldstein on the program this morning. Thank you so much.